So hi, my name is Sirpa Tsimal. I'm with Switzerland Global Enterprise. That's the official investment promotion agency for Switzerland. And I'm pleased to have Fernando Torres here with me. So thank you for joining me to talk about expansion strategies and also about Switzerland.
A pleasure.
So please introduce yourself.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Fernando Torres. I am from southern Spain, Seville, but I work at Scaleway. Scaleway is the European cloud provider, and we hope to be the European hyperscaler by 2030. And I've been charged in international expansion in tech for all my life. So yeah, happy and very excited to be here because I'm actually in charge of developing Switzerland for Scaleway. So yeah, super thrilled to be here.
Thank you. Cool. So let's jump right in. So what advice can you give to companies that are looking to expand to or also within Europe? And also what in terms of what are the different expansion strategies? Because I saw also on your LinkedIn profile, you've done other expansion projects. So you're quite expert in that. So what are the tips you can give to companies that are on that journey?
So regarding that, particularly the different strategy that I would give myself, I think if we focus more on Switzerland, which is what I did here, is I think Switzerland, it's quality before quantity. And one of the strategies, for example, in international expansion, when you hope to use maybe Switzerland as a leverage, is that land maybe 2 or 3 logos that reference, because Switzerland is heavily regulated. You guys are experts in finance, in pharmaceutical, and governmental, so highly regulated sectors. So if you manage to land 2-3 logos here, you're going to be able to leverage that and be able to expand to other countries within Europe. For example, if you're working in the pharmaceutical sector and you're already working with Roche, for example, great way to expand within the sector into Germany, into France, in all the adjacent countries. That would be it's a great way to start. Also, if you manage to partner with local partners, for example, it's also a good way because you already have a good network and you can find alliances, you can find synergies together to really make an impact locally, particularly here in Switzerland. What else? For example,
maybe some pitfalls as well that they should look out for when expanding or thinking
we're expanding,
about
particularly because I'm going to be, since we're focusing here on digital sovereignty and so on, there are sectors that are heavily regulated. So watch out for that regulation. Make sure you're GDPR compliant. Make sure you're FDNI compliant within Switzerland. FDAP, sorry, for example, compliant, which are quite similar to GDPR. So those would be some pitfalls to watch out. Make sure that you have all your regulations in place. Make sure that you know what the risks are or what the dangers are. So be careful. So watch out for that.
Mm-hmm. So let's stay on the topic of digital sovereignty. Everybody's talking about that now, and it's an important topic for companies. Comparing Switzerland with other jurisdictions, what can Switzerland offer in that?
So I think, first of all, is the neutrality and stability of Switzerland. I think that's what everyone appreciates. Coming back to my first point, Switzerland is great for quality. The market itself, particularly in tech, is not huge. However, you guys have the best of the best. It's la crème de la crème, in my opinion.
Nice to hear.
Yeah, for me, it's great. So great stability. You guys are heavily regulated, but in the good sense, because at the same time, you're quite flexible. You always protect your own first. So that's a really, really good way. You protect your data centers here. For example, in terms of data, it's crucial to have them in Europe. Not just Europe, but also within Switzerland. The fact that you have a great connection, you have great stability, it really brings a lot to the table, so you don't have dependency on outside countries. For example, the Swiss sovereignty or digital sovereignty, it's since you remain so neutral, you remain so stable, you don't depend on anything else. You don't depend on other tertiary institutions. You don't depend on the US. You don't depend on China. So always going to be within Switzerland or within Europe as a whole. So in that sense, Switzerland, brings stability, brings the fact that you're always going to be remaining in Switzerland. Nobody can take it out from you in that sense. And
so how does it look like with other countries comparing? So you're from France, right? But also Spain and Germany, other European countries. What are the kind of the experiences you made in those countries for scaling and also digital sovereignty? What's the approach in those countries?
So, for example, France and Germany, they're both countries that are heavily investing on sovereignty. They pride themselves on being sovereign because data remains in France or remains in Germany. In fact, they came out with regulations where they really ensure that if you want to work with local governments, you need to make sure you have this certification to make sure that you remain sovereign and the data remains there. In other countries, it's a bit more light. So I would say that Swiss is more ahead in this because you still have sovereignty as a whole. It doesn't depend on several countries, as the EU, for example, might have. So you have still that power because Switzerland remains more of a whole, smaller, it's easier to make decisions, but at the same time you control more. However, in the EU and other countries, it's a bit more challenging because there's more actors that take place into that.
Yeah. So that's Switzerland being independent in that sense.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You being independent, being neutral, being like crème de la crème.
Crème de la crème. I have to remember that.
Yeah.
So within the scaling growth strategies, so Switzerland, is it best approach as a market entry or single market, or also as a hub or as a starting point to Europe as a whole?
For me, it would depend on what you want. If you're looking to B2B strategic sales, you're looking for into more critical sectors, such as, again, finance, insurance, pharmaceuticals, life sciences. I would consider Switzerland as a whole market, different. However, if you want to more into quantity, so less quality, more quantity, more large scales, maybe B2C at large scales, or maybe retail, I would consider Switzerland more as a part of Europe. You know, they have the influences from Germany, they have influences from France. So in that sense, I would consider, so it really depends on what you're looking for, what you're going to be focusing on. However, I do strongly believe that Switzerland is a great way to use as a lighthouse. So let's just say we've already started working with some logos in Switzerland. As I said before, let's expand to the rest of Europe. Mm-hmm. Because it's really, as I said, you guys, in what you do, you are the best of the best. So leverage that and make sure that people, hey guys, we're already working with these companies in Switzerland. Let's expand in the rest of Europe.
Yeah, so using Switzerland also kind of a test market for the rest of Europe.
Yes, why not?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So one more, or a bit more on the technical side, and what you provide at Scaleway.
Yeah.
So the whole infrastructure, and what role does access to reliable cloud and tech infrastructure play in enabling scale-ups in Switzerland, but also compared to Europe as a whole again, or even worldwide? Yeah.
So for scaling, that's the topic I'm going to be taking a bit later. For scaling, it's crucial to have a stable, but also scalable infrastructure. For example, Scaleway, we provide cloud services from bare metal dedicated service to public cloud, all the way to AI. So we provide GPUs and AI infrastructure to help companies scale. Actually, the name Scaleway comes in place to that because we help companies scale. Mm-hmm. So what role does Switzerland or reliable cloud or reliable infrastructure plays when scaling? Crucial. You need to be able to be stable, but at the same time to be agile. I believe that the reliable infrastructure that is going to be helping you scale at a pace. Okay, that, for example, in Switzerland, the infrastructure is rock solid. It has world-class connectivity. It's green energy, for example. That's another topic that I would like to bring maybe later. And extremely high uptime. So there's a very low latency. So the fact that you have all of this in Switzerland helps companies scale faster because they don't have to worry about having issues with infrastructure.
Good point. So yeah, sustainability, also interesting topic. Anything you want to add there in the terms of infrastructure and Switzerland, also EU?
I believe, for example, Switzerland, it's a great opportunity to one of the main sources of energy that you guys have here, if I'm not mistaken, is hydroelectric. So you use that a lot.
60%, up to 60%.
There you go. Thank you. I didn't know the actual data, so thank you for that. So the fact that you are because infrastructure, AI, they consume a lot of energy. They consume a lot of water, and they have a lot of carbon CO2 emissions. So the fact that in Switzerland you can have green energy, and you don't need as much air conditioning to heat that because, for better or worse, it's a colder climate than in Southern Europe, for example. So it plays a huge role when placing, when you want high, stable infrastructure as the ones you may have here. So the fact that, as having such a green energy is also a great way, to promote this sustainable infrastructure and make sure that companies are scaling fast and well, yes, but also in a sustainable way.
Very important, yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. So maybe last point, talent. Tech talent is scarce.
Yes.
So how can Switzerland better position itself in the whole war for talent, so to say? How to attract international talent and also investment. So with talent comes the company or the investment in AI and also in a data-driven space.
You guys have great institutions of research here. You have CERN, you have ETH of Zurich, you have EPFL, for example, in Lausanne. So you guys have great institutions here. I think it would be a great way if you can partner with some of founders from the associations or some sort of way where you can mix research and actual companies to make sure you attract the talent. So we're going to be giving you the possibility to international talent to come to Switzerland to learn and to research at some of the best institutions in the world, but also at the same time to put it to practice. Whether you want to do it on the life sciences, you want to do it on financials, you want to do some research on CERN, but put it to practice in some of the companies. So you're not only attracting the best talents in the world and making sure you train them in the best institutions here in Switzerland, but at the same time you bring in capital in, okay? Because if capital sees that you guys are attracting the best talent, it means that you're going to be able to make possibly the best results. So that's a very good way. I don't think you leverage enough the good institutions that you guys have here.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and the whole kind of that the innovations don't stay at those academic institutions, but fast to market and make it into the way.
Exactly.
Into the market.
So it's great to do institutions as this. Like you have InnoSwiss, you have Innovation Park. All of these are great initiatives.
And they work very closely with business or industry together,
exactly.
yes, to make it happen. Yeah.
Exactly. So that they can work hand by hand. It's a great way to attract talent and to attract capital at the same time.
Yeah. So one more question about expansion strategies. So what are the challenges and also how to overcome them for scale-ups that are looking at Switzerland?
Yeah. Switzerland, it can be a closed market. You guys, as I said, you're the best of the best in the stuff that you guys do. However, it can be challenging because you're very reluctant of the things that are outside of Switzerland sometimes. So particularly if our companies coming from far away or they don't know the Swiss ways, or that's why, for example, I think it's crucial to really understand the market needs. What are the challenges that your customers are going to be facing? What are the challenges that the customers are going to be facing? So how you overcome them? So great ways are partnering with local partners. That it can be technological alliances, or it can be companies that are going to be complements to what you guys are going to be offering. So they're going to be able to give you an insight in the market and also going to be able to leverage their notoriety into the Swiss market, for example. So make sure that you know what people want, how they behave before coming here. Because as I said, they can be a bit of a closed market, and there can be reluctance. Not that they don't trust you; it's just at first it can be, okay, who are you? Where are you coming from? But you need to make sure that you're patient.
You have to build that trust,
Exactly.
basically.
You need to build that trust.
Swiss, yeah.
Exactly. Build that trust. Make sure you're trustworthy, because they did not get their stability and this reliability out of nothing.
That's true.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why I think you need to make sure that you're trustworthy, that you build reliability. So that's why, for example, partnering with the local, it could be a great way to do so. Also, patience.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I don't know if you have anything to add, but from my side, I feel
no, I'm just very excited. I'm very thrilled to be here, and I don't know. Come to Switzerland, guys. It's
that's a good closing word.
Yeah.
Come to Switzerland, as easy as that.
Yeah, it's a great place, and good talent, good people.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for your insights, for sharing that with us, Fernando. And I'm sure it will inspire a lot of scale-ups and companies that are on their expansion journey. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for having me here, by the way.
Thanks.